More amazing work from GB News. We've all heard the recent predictable cries from the usual suspects, now calling for Britain to take in Palestinian refugees from Gaza. The Scottish First Minister trying to tell us it is our tiny, overcrowded island's responsibility to import the world and all its problems. To hell with what the British public thinks, as usual. Well, this Member of Parliament from Denmark explains to us why we would be insane to do just that, as you'll hear. And he is best placed to give advice on the matter because his country did just that in the 1990s, and now they have come to regret it. They recently did a survey on those refugees a few years back, and it turns out 64% of them have earned themselves a criminal record. A fact those screaming for open borders in this country will no doubt brush under the carpet. And it gets worse. Firstly, our country is in the middle of a cost of living crisis. We have a housing crisis, along with millions of people on hospital waiting lists. How many homeless immigrants do you see? I see loads in my local area, including women with pushchairs and kids. They have obviously come here and gone straight to the top of the queue for social housing and benefits. No wonder they all risk their lives crossing the sea from the very safe country of France. Then we know Gaza is a war zone with some very fanatical people living there full of hate. Even if our population was a sensible 30 million, not over 68 million, how do we know exactly who we are letting in and what their beliefs are and their compatibility with British life? Why should we take that risk? The Muslim nations in the surrounding area have refused to take any in, so the idea we have to start taking them in is completely insane. We should take advice from our Danish cousins across the North Sea, as they know what they are talking about. Though it wouldn't surprise me if we started importing them pretty soon, like we do everyone else. Take a listen to what he had to say. Don't say we weren't warned.
We've heard here Humza Yousaf, our leader in Scotland, say that we should take in a load of Palestinian refugees. What would you say to that based on the Danish experience?
Thank you for having me here. I would say no, no, no. That would be completely insane. I mean, just look into the Danish statistics. It's all public. You can go to Google. You can see the numbers. It has been a completely disaster in Denmark. And I believe the politicians back then made the worst investment ever for the Danish future.
Okay, I mean, why? You know, what happened? I mean, what was the thing? Because, you know, look, let's be honest. I mean, you know, loads of Danish people, I imagine, will commit crime as well. Crime is not just the preserve of, you know, Palestinians, is it? So, go on, what was so especially bad?
Well, if you compare these group of people to the Danish citizens, you would see that they are way more criminals than the Danish population in general, first of all. But the thing is, those people were not even real refugees. I mean, when many of them were granted asylum seeking, they decided to go back to their own country to celebrate. So it's not even real refugees as we know them. So I would very much advise you to stop taking those people. It will give you problems for generations, honestly.
So just say that to me again. So you granted asylum to a load of Palestinian refugees who then went back to Gaza
to celebrate.
And then came back to Denmark.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That possibly should have set alarm bells ringing, I suppose. But was there a big push? Was there a big push from the Danish public? You know, people who thought they were doing a nice thing, people who thought they were doing the right thing initially. Presumably, you were under a lot of pressure.
This was a case where the government, the authorities were under huge pressure from a party called the Radical Left and the Socialistic People's Party. So imagine the debate back then in the 90s. If you warned against these people, if you said, well, they could be way more criminal than a regular Danish person, you would be called a racist. You might even have lost your job. So it was quite difficult back then, but today I believe that not even the Social Democrats would do anything as stupid as back in the 90s.
Well, you'd be surprised, because we have a chap in charge of the Scottish National Party who is very keen to do exactly that by the sounds of things. Let me just ask this, Peter, to you and say, hey, you know, maybe this was down to the poor socio-economic circumstances of them moving to Denmark, that they had to resort to crime in order to pay their way. They weren't given opportunities. It was an inevitability.
No, I would say that Denmark is a Scandinavian welfare state that will feed everybody coming here. So if you are not able to have success under these circumstances, you would never have success anywhere in the world. So this is a complete social state taking care of feeding everybody here. So there is absolutely no reason to commit hard crimes as some of those people did. A lot of them, actually.
Okay, fair enough. Look, Peter, thank you very much. And can I just ask as well, any plans to take any refugees from the current conflict taking place over there?
No plans.
Okay. Peter, thank you very much. It's Peter Koffel there, who is a Danish MEP.